Hello and welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to a news round of today which once again is dominated by Neymar Jr. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the entire picture, a big overview coming up today on Neymar's future and whether or not he is going to be joining Barca this summer. Sit back, I know the saga is dragging on, I know that it's been a long time coming, but right now, big things are happening. Let's do this. Because, quite simply, after the events that took place at the Parc de France last night, which we are going to come on to, Neymar missed PSG's opening match of the season, and the transfer there took a sudden advancement, a sudden lurch forward. Neymar is closer than ever to leaving Paris Saint-Germain, and I think it's really important here to recognise exactly what's happened right throughout the summer. Not just right now, but right throughout the summer. This is an exit that's been building and building and building. What we'd have to do right now is understand where we are with Neymar and where we are with regard to Paris Saint-Germain and where they stand right now, because what we have to discuss is power, and precisely where that power, I feel, has been lost for PSG right throughout the summer and how that's escalated. And right now they're in a position whereby Neymar's exit looks more and more likely with every passing day. Because if we go back to the start of the summer here, it was first rumoured, of course, that Neymar wanted to leave Paris. He was unhappy there at PSG and he wanted to leave this summer. Now at the start of the summer, everybody was thinking, well, that's great, Neymar wants to leave, but who on earth can afford him? PSG were thinking, right, we've got a player here under contract, there's no danger, we'll talk him round, most likely this will all end here with Neymar signing a new deal. But it hasn't gone down like that, because at first PSG there had all of the power, they held all of the cards, but as time has gone on, they've started there to lose that power, because they there are a club who often force their stars to stay at the club against their will, but they often succeed in doing that. They've kept Thiago Silva, they've kept Marquinhos, they've kept Kylian Mbappe, they certainly keep the players there who they want to keep. Of course, Marco Verratti, we've had personal experience with that one, and even if they did wish to sell at the start of the summer, they were in a position there to demand a massive world record transfer fee for a player there they'd paid 222 million euros for back in 2017. However, the chain of events that have followed now, for me, have left PSG in a dangerous and difficult now predicament, whereby the power has started to fade away from the French side, which I feel that in the end could leave PSG actually accepting an offer for Neymar, which if you'd done that at the start of the summer, they would have laughed you away. But right now, PSG are going to be forced, I feel, to take what they can get for a player who simply wants out. Because if we look at the timeline here for Neymar Jr., at the start of the summer, of course, he wanted out. He made that very clear. What happened then was that he didn't join it with Paris Saint-Germain training. They looked to fine him. They looked to try and punish him for not turning up there for their pre-season preparations. He turned up late there. He'd spent the time that he wasn't at PSG training talking about Barcelona and talking, of course, about the best moments in his career as a footballer. In that interview, he spoke about his comeback against Paris Saint-Germain, his current club, with Barcelona. He spoke about the remontada, he spoke about the 6-1, very unhappy that made Paris Saint-Germain. And then, of course, when he finally turned up to pre-season training with Paris Saint-Germain, he missed every single game. He was recovering from injury at the start, but right now, he's perfectly fine. He missed 4 games in total there in pre-season for PSG, including, of course, their games in their tour of China, which PSG would have wanted Neymar to appear in for the commercial value. He was then suspended for Paris Saint-Germain's Super Cup win over Rennes, but even then, that wasn't without issue. They won that, of course, they won the French Super Cup, but even in the title celebrations, in the celebration photos, it was pretty awkward. Neymar seemed to make it very known there that he didn't want to be there. He didn't look happy, he didn't look like he wanted to be in with the team, he looked very separate there to the rest of the PSG players, and even then, there was a clear divide between Neymar and the rest of his teammates, and of course, then we come to yesterday, the big turning point in the Neymar saga. He was left out of their team to play Nimes in the first game of the French League season. He didn't play at all in that game, he wasn't included in the squad, and Leonardo before the game came out and said, look, Neymar will not play because right now negotiations are more advanced. That was very interesting words there from the sporting director of Paris Saint-Germain, but it got even more interesting there for Barcelona and even more dangerous for Paris Saint-Germain because of what happened in the game. Because PSG have had it in their mind all along, they wanted to leave Neymar out of any single official game because what they wanted to do was they thought if they left Neymar out, the fans wouldn't turn against him. They wouldn't have that breakdown of the relationship between Neymar and the PSG fans. They didn't want that, especially there with last night's game coming at home. PSG thought if we leave Neymar out, they're not going to be bothered about Neymar right now. We're just going to wait for all of this to blow over and then we can reintroduce Neymar and he can work his way back in with the fans. But that did not happen. Yesterday, at the Parc de France, it was hostile against Neymar. The fans there, even though he wasn't even in the ground, he wasn't on the pitch, the fans turned against Neymar. There was banners that came out. They were insulting his private life. They were insulting Neymar personally. They were telling him to get out now. The PSG fans there were chanting as well about Neymar. All the way through the game it happened, and quite simply, the breakdown of the relationship between Paris Saint-Germain fans and Neymar was clear for everyone to see, and for PSG, that spells very, very bad news, because when you fans out like that, when you come out there and clearly demonstrate to everybody watching, including Barcelona, that breakdown there, suddenly PSG there are losing even more power, and even more so, after the game, Thomas Tuchel came out in an interview, of course, the PSG coach, he came out after the game and almost there leaned towards agreeing what the fans had done in the game. Tuchel came out after the game. He said, it's very, very difficult for me sitting here right now. I don't really know what I can say. He said, can I understand the fans' actions? He said, yes and no. I can understand both sides. He said, right now, there's a lot of emotion. He said, I can understand that not everybody likes what Neymar has said and what Neymar has done. He's still my player, though, and I must protect my players. Thomas Tuchel there saying that he can understand the fans revolting there against Neymar because of what he's done this summer. And you can now see how that would start to affect the team, the coach, the dimensions there. If you put Neymar in that dressing room every single week, the unhappy player that he is, the fact that he wants out, it's very, very clear that could become very hostile with the fans and, of course, with the players inside PSG. But now, the final piece of the jigsaw and what Barcelona believe would be the final nail in the PSG coffin would be Neymar publicly announcing, publicly coming out and stating his desire to leave. That's what, according to Sport, Barcelona have told Neymar, you need to do this to make the transfer happen. You need to come out in the public domain and say, I want to leave Paris Saint-Germain, and if possible, even say, I want to return to Barcelona. That's what Barcelona want Neymar to do. If he wants to accelerate the negotiations, that's what he needs to do, and that would be the final nail. That would be the final point there to really take that power away from Paris Saint-Germain, because then you'd have the Holy Trinity. You would then have the players' public desire to leave Paris Saint-Germain. You would then have the relationship, of course, between the fans, the player, and the club, which will be completely and utterly broken, perhaps even beyond repair. And then, of course, you'd have the fact that to keep Neymar against his will, if you're Paris Saint-Germain and you want to play hard right now, you want to keep Neymar at the club just to spite him, you can do that, but he'll be unhappy, he may not provide you with much on the pitch, and he's going to cost you over 700,000 euros every single week because of the huge wages that he's currently on. And that is why I'd say right now, Neymar is closer than ever to an exit from Paris Saint-Germain, especially what happened last night. The way the PSG fans reacted, the way they don't want Neymar back in this team, they want Neymar sold, and for that reason, PSG know now they need to start accepting the fact that Barcelona may be the best option. They don't want to do that, they don't want to sell to Barcelona, but it may be in their best interest now. And it was very, very interesting time, because about this time where PSG fans were certainly turning against Neymar, a report came out there from France, a very reliable outlet, RMC Sport. They came out and said, for the first time, PSG are willing to accept players in exchange for Neymar Jr. this summer. That was the first time that PSG had openly said, you know what, we will accept players in exchange. All along they've been saying, look, we want money, we want money, we want money. Barcelona can't offer money. But right now, because of that fan revolt, because of what's happening at the club, they need to sell Neymar. Their power in this situation is dwindling with every passing day. They know they have to sell Neymar, and now they are going to be open to that player exchange. But I want to say right here and now, how is that deal going to be completed on the side of Barcelona? And first of all, I want to put absolutely straight here the reports which emerged earlier on today that basically stated that Neymar's lawyer, Juan Crespo, was at the Barcelona offices today, and that could mean the signing is close, because the man himself, Juan Crespo, he denies that he's there on behalf of PSG, he denies that he's there on behalf of Neymar. He said it's absolutely nothing to do with that. I'm nothing to do with the transaction. Don't come to me and say that. I'm here because of something else. We have to put that on the back burner right now because he has officially denied it. But I'd also like to bring your attention here to a report coming out from Rack 1, which actually claims that Barcelona are currently deep in talks with Bayern Munich over the loan of Philippe Coutinho for the coming season, a deal there which would include an option to buy. But I want to say about that, it's interesting because, of course, if we did want to sign Neymar, the first player in the player exchange would be Philippe Coutinho. So why then then are we talking to Bayern Munich? And I think right now we're seeing a tactic from Barcelona whereby they're giving themselves all the options. They want to show PSG that we're not relying on them. We don't have to go through them to do our business. We can put Coutinho elsewhere. And PSG might be thinking right now, if we're going to sell Neymar, we do kind of want Coutinho going the other way. Maybe now we should accelerate those talks. We should open talks and actually now try and come to an agreement. And what you're going to see right now is a number of different reports. With PSG behind them, you're going to see some things coming out like this Coutinho story, which I believe Barcelona are very much behind. And of course, you're going to see things coming out from the player himself, Neymar. You are going to see many stories which are all going to be designed to put the maximum amount of pressure on the club or the player to get this deal done. But I have to finish by saying what we do know now is that the relationship between Neymar and the PSG fans, along with the club itself, is broken. That relationship has broken down, and like I say, it may be beyond repair. You might never, ever be able to heal that relationship, and I think that means he has to go. He has to go this summer. Neymar must leave Paris Saint-Germain, but is it going to be to Barcelona? Is he going to join this summer? We will be finding out. There will be more to come. You can bet that. So please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What do you make of the entire saga so far? And especially, what did you make last night of the reception that Paris Saint-Germain fans gave Neymar at the Parc des Princes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And of course, you can count on it. There will be more news soon, and I'll be here to give you everything you need to know. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate your support. But until next time, as always, Vasca El Barça.